Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Welcome to the fourth round of this Midwest F1 Division 1 Championship. Tonight it has the circuit Barcelona, Catalonia for another division of another rendition of Division 1 action. Tonight it's a bit special as well. We've got no racing line available here at Barcelona. We'll get to that in just a minute, but first let's go over your starting grid. Will be none other than race day 2016 on pole. 1:11.762 was the time to beat, and Reimer, second in line, got within 0.5 of a second. That's as close as anyone got to that pole time. Reimer will start second to the Red Bull. Third will be Cali Robb. Fourth will be Race Chase, only about 7/100ths between third and fourth of Cali Robb and the Sauber of Race Chase. Fifth will be Gottney Weeb. Sixth will be Lancey. Seventh will be Fire Up Flow, only about, 4/100ths between Lancey and Fire Up Flow. A bit more than that, but still either way. It'll be Shariah Coleslaw in eighth, starting ninth will be Nikki 64, 6/100ths between those two. Brett Drives Fast starting 10th. It'll be 11th for Noganator, 12th for Houdini, 13th for Gunner, 14th for Sui. Only 9/1000ths of a second between Gunner and Sui in 14th. 15th will be Travis Scott, and 16th will be Gab at the tail end of the grid. The Alpines rounding out the back row. So, once again, no racing line available for this round. It's very interesting. I think we're starting to get into the tune of getting more races in here with no racing line. Some drivers like it, some drivers don't. I, for one, think it's indefinitely an added challenge that the drivers will have to overcome. Thankfully, this Spanish track is one that the drivers will be, I would say, very familiar with as well, which is good. I think the problem with this track and having no line, it's just kind of, you look at that line sometime for throttle inputs as well as for some braking points as well. They're pretty straightforward on this track, which is good. It just sometimes, it does differentiate lap by lap as well by where your tires are at and how you've positioned your car into the corner. Our next no-line Grand Prix will be January the 9th in Singapore. I think that's actually gone quite easy now that Singapore is not necessarily one of the easier tracks on schedule, but more some of the straightforward tracks on schedule. Anyways, looking at the next three, we do have Las Vegas next time out, December the 12th. A week after that, we head to Imola for the final round of 2024, which should be a fantastic sixth round of the championship. We come back on January 2nd for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Those are the next couple of races there. We'll have a look quickly enough at your Driver and Constructors Championship. After last time out before the Thanksgiving break. By the way, we hope you had a very happy Thanksgiving. Hope you spent a lot of time with your family. Hope you ate some good food. And, well, if you're not American, I'm not really 100% sure what you've been up to, but I hope that's gone well, whatever it is. Anyways, looking at the... I hate to say it, but the most accurate driver standings I have up here is actually round 2 from Great Britain. Unfortunately, nothing else has been put up. But what I can say is that at round 2 at Great Britain, Race Day was leading. 122 to Palmer's 108. Those were the top two as formation lap's going to get underway here. Just a reminder, Cali Robb won that Saudi Arabian third round 2 weeks ago. Should have been it was a very good race as far as I can remember. And now potentially we have the ability to do it again here. Formation lap underway. Most of the grid choosing the medium tires, two of which have gone soft to the Willie of Gottney Weeb, as well as the Sauber of Shariah Coleslaw are the only two have gone soft for this occasion. Travis Scott's has gone hard. Everybody else has remained medium. Top 4 of which medium as well. That run down to that first corner is not... It is quite a long run to that first corner. One of the longest in F1, these pit straights. But I have a feeling on this opening lap, it's going to be one of those things where we just see drivers fan out and kind of try to play it safe here. Because you go off through those first couple of corners, there's not really things immediately to hit around you. But it does get difficult. And it is one of those things you just got to be aware of. I think for Race Day 2016, he's got to get off the line well. Reimer is not necessarily known for his quick starts, but I think any of these top 4 or 5 guys could really play an impact here. You know, let's say Race Chase has a bit of a dive to the outside or to the inside of turn 1, and a couple of cars get shuffled back. We could really see some moving about here. Should be in for a fantastic race, this. Of course, this track has undergone some layout changes in the recent years, down to 14 corners, as they've eliminated that chicane there in Sector 3. So Race Chase will line up on the outside of the grid, heading down into that first corner. Reimer, if he gets a good start, will have the inside of the first corner. It's interesting because this is one of the best tracks in the season for being on the right side of that grid. Yeah, you'll take turn 2 on the outside. Turn 2 really doesn't matter. That long turn 3 you'll have the inside for, and that will force the driver to your left, kind of more up the track. So Reimer, I would say, if he gets a good enough start, will be at the advantage here. But either way, here we go. Lights are going to begin turning on here on the pit straight in Barcelona, Spain, for what should be a fantastic fourth round. We've got 5 lights, and away they go. And Race Day has gotten a good start. He's immediately tried to get in front of Reimer there side by side. Reimer's gotten a much better start. I think they briefly touch off the line there as they make their way down into the first corner. Race Chase has been taken to the inside. Looks Race Day 3 abreast into the corner. Goodness me, they've done it. And Cali Robb has gone up the left side and is being able to get round Reimer only temporarily. They're now side by side, going through 3 as they're 2x2 on the way through. Was that Cali Robb and Lancey? Lancey's gone up to second, is now battling along with Cali Robb. Race Day trying to get his way back in as well. Race Chase is not had a good start. Oh, that's a big lockup for Race Day, and they're going to get in front of everybody, and he's going to shuffle way down the grid. Wow, that is not what we expected at a Race Day there in the opening goings. Reimer is a second ahead now. Lancey behind 13 to 14. At 15 to 23, that's the strategy for medium to hard. So about halfway through this 33-lap Grand Prix as they make their way. And look at Race Chase wants a bit of a dive to the inside of Cali Robb through turn 10. It's not quite going to happen. But wow, what an opening lap. This is their side-by-side. Race Chase and Race Day going up through 11 and 12 has got any weave. I don't know if that car is ghosted for having a slide or he's not been able to join the session. Oh, but goodness me, what drama on the opening lap, and Lancey was able to stay calm and stay clean. He's up 4 spots. Down the pit straight they go. They won't have DRS until the DRS section coming out of turn 9. But Cali Robb round the outside of Lancey up to second. Reimer does lead by about a second and a half now after that first lap. Race Day really got shuffled back. He wanted the inside into the first corner. It hurt him because Reimer had given him plenty of space, and Cali Robb was on the outside. Reimer can't drift up the track anymore because Cali Robb was there. I think it's just hurt Race Day in the end because Race Day's wanted the inside, hoping he was going to force Reimer wide through 1, and it's not happened because Cali Robb was there. So Race Day's had a tremendously awful start here, down 3 positions as they make their way down the backstretch, heading towards turn 10. Race Day has a quick peek to the to the inside of Lancey, nothing there. And up through now the rest of Sector 3. Gunner and Noganator side by side as they make their way towards 13. We have a yellow flag. Cali Robb's gone around! No, and a driver who was such a promising start to the Grand Prix has fallen down to 9th. He's not hit anything. The track stays green. DRS activated. Race Day 2.5 tenths behind Lancey. Lancey, by the way, has lost about another second. Back to Reimer since taking that second spot. But what I will say, this grid's still very tightly packed together here. Reimer does lead through 4. 2.1 and a half, 2.2. Race Day behind. About a quarter of a second. Race Chase behind him as well. Got some moving about going on at the back. Houdini has shuffled back a couple of spots to the inside still of Noganator. And Noganator's going to drop. He's going to fall to Prep Drive Fast as well, and then pick up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as Nicky64 getting around Fire Up Flow. Well, I think the Williams may have had an error there along the line somewhere. Heading into turn 10, not really many moves are going to be made there. Of course, they've taken away, well, I say that, and Cali Robb has made contact there with Fire Up Flow, bit of a slide for the Williams. He's caught it and will stay 9th. I was about to say is we don't really see moves into that 10th corner anymore. Back when it used to be the tighter left-handed corner, used to see a lot of moves into the braking zone back in the, F1 21 and I think even 22 for that matter, and 20 before that. Used to see those moves be made, just not anymore. That sweeping left-hander has really totally killed the purpose of that DRS zone. As off towards the back, we got a yellow flag. Sui appears. It's not Sui, it's Travis Scott. Something's happened there. Either way, seems to have sorted itself out. Bit of a slide there for Lancey on the way into 5. For the time being, Race Day has climbed his way back to the second spot and has shaved off about half a second to the deficit to Reimer. Lancey in third is under a lot of pressure here from Race Chase, who has regained his composure and back to fourth. Having a bit of a look to the back, Nikki 64 and Callie Robb having a bit of a go now. Such an entertaining first lap. I've lost my voice almost. Kind of feels like I know I've got a bit of a sickness going on right now. I've got a bit of a cold, but a bit odd. Callie Robb in position on Nikki 64. Down the pit straight they go. And to the inside, Callie Robb's going to have that one relatively easily, it seems. Race Chase now looking for Lancey through those first couple of corners. A lot of contact there to the back end of the V-carb. Chase is going to look around the outside. Not quite going to be there. Lancey's defended well and into the braking zone at 4. No challenges there, although Gottney Weeb and Shariah both getting themselves into this battle. Fire Up Flow has gotten around Gunner side by side. Going through 4. Houdini watches on and hopes for a mistake as into the braking zone at 5. Gunner, oh, and they are going to make contact there. Could that open the door for Houdini? Nah, not quite. I think Houdini may have hesitated there just a little bit. He's chosen a bit of a safe option, which is not a bad idea. Can't really ever discredit the safe option. We get a yellow flag. Brett drives fast has gone round as we see Gunner and Fire Up Flow side by side. Brett seems to have regained his composure. I think he may have spun going up the hill out of 7 and 8 and heading towards 9. Meanwhile, battle for the top spot. Down to within 7.5, 8/10 of a second is behind. Lancey's having difficulty here. Race Chase round the outside. And it looks like that move, well, I said it was going to be made as we watch behind the Sauber getting around Gottney Weeb as well. Both Saubers trying to make moves there. Shariah could still have the inside of Gottney Weeb. Both drivers have gone soft to start this race. Shariah to the inside. Actually gets some good acceleration despite being on the inside of 4. And round through 5. Good racing this wheel to wheel, and I say that they're going to make contact a little bit. Not to anyone's fault. But Shariah Coleslaw will take that 5th spot. Five-tenths of a second now. Rapid Reimer trying his best to get back to Race Day. Oh, sorry, vice versa. Race Day trying to get back to Reimer. Race Day's actually gone a little bit wide out of that final corner. It's not really helped his getaway. And I think Reimer's going to be able to survive here. Reimer, despite being ahead and only with the DRSs, Lancey's going to get around Race Chase. You can see some of the drivers, Race Day especially that time, quite tentative into that braking zone into turn 1. You can see Reimer's actually not really used his energy store. I know it's down to about 60%, so he's used it. Not really recently, though, and it wasn't down the pit straight. I think maybe just on the getaway to kind of create some sort of, gap to Race Day behind. Although 0.2 of a second now, going up now through turn 9. DRS activated again, but again, as you can see, it's actually not really come to fruition. Fire Up Flow seems to have gotten around Gunner at the corner. Yes, he has. He's put behind the Williams as well. Nicely done. Down the pit straight. Reimer's not gotten a good getaway this time. As Race Day, I think, is going to have a fair shot here. He'll have to look to the inside. No, Reimer will defend the inside. Race Day will have to go the long way around through 1. He's able to outbrake the Red Bull. Nicely done. He's able to hold on to it. That's the next question, and it looks as if he will. Race Chase was not pressured by Lancey down the pit straight. want to say fire up flow. Well, it did just get around Gunner not long ago. Travis Scott's gotten around Nogan here. Someone's just gone wide there. That's the Ferrari of Sui having to take to the escape road. As though Shariah's gone round. Seems as he's regained his composure, but yeah, that car went a bit spinning not too long ago. Down the back straight heading in towards turns 10. Looks as if Lancey is not quite in position to make a move at Race Chase quite yet. Although he certainly appears to be closing in. There's no doubt Lancey's a quick driver. I think maybe Chase is defending quite well. He's got the rest of the circuit pretty much mapped out, but when you got DRS like this, it's going to be very difficult to defend against, and Lancey's really going to have this one handed to him. To the inside, and the Dutchman up to third. Oh, thought for a second there he was going to outbrake the corner. Kind of looked as if initially like he was going to. Did have a little bit of a slide there, getting back on throttle, but he stayed ahead. Although has lost 7 seconds to the top two. See now if Chase can kind of make his way back to Lancey. Oh, what's happened here? Look at this. Reimer's goal making a lot of contact now. Reimer and Race Day side by side. Reimer back up to the top spot. As he's actually taken Race Day there into turn 10, and now once again, mano-a-mano going down the pit straight once again. As Race Day to the inside, he's going to get that one quite easily with DRS. Race Chase going to have another look at Lancey here, maybe into that first corner. Let's see. Not quite. Shariah, however, will get round Nicky. Looks if Sui will get down to the inside of Gab. Now, that one looks not easy, but easy done at least. Wonder where Reimer's starting to kind of get this time back. Because Race Day is definitely going quick, but Reimer, I think, at least for the most part here, has looked a little bit more comfortable. I think he's kind of... I don't know, it seems like he's got a little bit of a better handle on it. Reimer's going to have to look to the inside here, and yep. No, maybe not. No, he's definitely looking for it, but he's just not quite there. As Brett drives fast, he's going to get 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Three-tenths of a second still between Race Chase and Lancey as they make their way through those first, towards the back end of Sector 1. Actually, that's in Sector 2 now, isn't it? Yep. Anyway, not the point. I don't know, it does still seem that Reimer is more confident with this car, with this circuit. Race Day struggling, potentially? I mean, it's probably not entirely correct to say. But, like, Reimer has had every move totally mapped out and planned and defended against from the oncoming charges of Race Day and vice versa. Shariah Coleslaw into the pit lane. Remember, he had started this race soft, going from soft to hard here in just a couple of seconds. No, he's going soft to medium. Okay. It's a bit of a bold decision, that. I don't know, maybe the tires, maybe the hard tires are just not worth using. Again, remember, we only saw one car start on those hard tires. That was Travis Scott. I don't know, that puzzles me a little bit. It really does. There's almost like little to no circumstance this season and these past couple of games where medium to hard or vice versa is not the strategy to take. I don't know, maybe this is just one of those outliers. Could be. Down the pit straight again, and again, it seems as if Race Day is struggling getting back on throttle. Maybe, let's look and see here. Reimer's going to break about 100. Race Day naturally would have had to react, as any later he would have gotten him side by side. Speaking of side by side, Race Day's going to get around Lancey. Callie Robb in the pit lane as well. Our first taker of the medium tires. Oh, he's misplacing the front wing. And softs for Callie Robb. Houdini in the pit lane as well. But once again, the battle for the top two. Reimer leads Race Day by 2.5 tenths of a second here. It's been a very even display by the both of them. I don't know. I still think Reimer is probably the more comfortable driver here, as Noganator appears to have gone round. He's collected it, and track stays great. I still think Reimer is probably the more comfortable out of the two here. I would still think this race is level pegging. There's nothing to tell me that Race Day could not take this lead and keep it, as he's going to get down to the inside of Reimer and up to that top spot once again. And he had DRS to boot. That was easy. Just a quick note of the caliber of greatness between the top two. They've put 9 seconds back to Race Chase in third. Mind you, nobody in the top 9 is yet to stop. That's Gab in that 9th position, so has yet to find the pit lane. Here is a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, as we're about halfway through this Grand Prix. And what's been a very quick-moving race, this. Looks as if Gab was within about 3/10 there of Sweet. Up through the first couple of corners, Reimer was not able to challenge Race Day that time. And going up through the rest of Sector 1 into the braking zone they go. Oh, that was a big lockup that time from Race Day. That car properly stopped then, and Reimer had to check up a lot as to not run in the back of the Mercedes. Couple of cars entering the pit lane now. Travis Scott's, however, has been overtaken by Shariah. Reimer's going to look for the left side of Race Day here. Mind you, Reimer is only looking for his second ever Division I win. He's one of the quickest drivers I know. Took, was it 4 or 5 out of the first 6 rounds of Monkey Mafia on Thursdays. He's just won the driver championship in CCRL yesterday. I mean, this guy is quick. At the line this time, we'll be halfway through this Spanish Grand Prix. And which is interesting, because the more things change, the more they stay the same. I mean, we started out Reimer and Race Day the top 2, Race Chase in 3rd. It definitely did not stay that way. Matter of fact, the entirety of the top 7. That's not true at all. I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, definitely the more things change, the more they stay the same as Reimer and Race Day, the top 2. Race Chase 3rd, Lancey 4th. Of course, Cali Robb has lost a bunch of spots here. Race Day back down to the inside. He's going to look forward into the first corner. Wheel to wheel they go. Oh, that's a big slide there for Race Day on the way into the braking zone into 1. He's only just caught it as well. I think if he had made contact with Reimer, that car was going to go around. Because we do have a yellow flag, and the safety car out on track. I don't know why that safety car is out. I don't know who has crashed where to make that happen. But the safety car is on track. And this kind of throws a huge wrench into the plans of everybody else running. Especially these guys amongst the top, 6 guys who haven't stopped yet. I mean, this is going to help them, but the rest of the grid is pitting again, some of which go into the hard tire, some of which back to the mediums as well. Cali Robb definitely doing that. Be interesting to see what Reimer and Race Day and the like choose here. As making their way into the pit lane they go. Will it be softs? Will it be hards? We saw some drivers choose the softs, and we chose the mediums after starting on the softs. Oh, and Race Day has hit the pit speed board there. That's going to, I think, probably hurt some of these guys behind him. Into the pit lane, he's going to go to the hard tires. Race Day's gone to the hards as well. Race Chase, he won't be able to see the line. He does get in. Brett drives fast. 10-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit white line. That's a bit of a unusual penalty. We don't see that too often. Fire Flow's going to pick up a tenner there. So, interesting. The top 2 have chosen the hard tires. Lancey's chosen the hards as well. Race Chase has gone to the softs. I'm going to take a slight break now as we wait for the safety car to catch up to itself. Hopefully my voice can kind of regain its strength here. But Reimer leads, entering lap 19. So the safety car will be on its way in this lap. And I will say this. It is looking slightly cloudy. As we'll come back to green flag with just over 10 laps to go. We're certainly getting there. Question is now is how will Race Chase kind of get back up to this, really? Because he's kind of like, he's on those soft tires. It's not going to be easy for him, but I think he's got a fair chance. Anyway, it is getting I tell you what, quite cloudy here. Back to green flag racing we go. Reimer's going to lead race day. Down the pit straight now, of course, no DRS here in the opening. He's not quite going to be close enough to make anything happen. Maybe a little further towards the back. Cali Robb to the inside of Gab has made that one happen nicely. But Gab's going to lose a couple of spots here. Yeah, he's fallen back the order quite quickly. As up to the top, side by side, it was not too long ago. Reimer has the top spot. Remember, Fire Up Flow picking up 10 seconds, and Brett drives fast as well. To the inside there. Gunner looking forward on Noganator. We did just have, I think, Fire Up Flow and Cali Robb not too far away from each other either. Remember, still 10 laps to go. It's quite cloudy here. I think maybe could rain be on the way. Within a tenth of a second there as they make their way through turn 10 as Race Day trying to close in as much as he can, but he's not quite got the power down enough to really challenge Reimer. Interesting to see how it fares out of this final corner. Down the pit straight they go. Gab. That'll put him at 6 seconds. No DRS this time by. They'll have it going up through turn 9. Reimer defends the inside. Race Day's going to have to go the long way around through turn 1, and he's done that. He's done just that rather quite easily there as well. Gottney Weeb side by side with Shariah. Side by side they go up through 3. As Gottney Weeb has gotten around the Sauber there. Two-tenths of a second between Race Chase and Reimer, and I tell you what, Race Chase is doing quite well. The problem is that he's on those soft tires. Oh, as we have a yellow flag at the back, Nicky 64 seems to have at least regained his composure temporarily as Reimer and Race Day were side by side there temporarily. I think the thing is that if Race Chase thinks that rain is going to happen, as they're bunched up now 2 by 2 as Lancey to the inside of Race Chase. I think if Chase thinks that rain is possible, that's why he's chosen those softs. Because they're not going to be good by that back end stage of the race. Unless does weather happen. And that's got to be the million-dollar question right now. But we've got 4 drivers in contention right now, as well as Cali Robb about to get around Shariah. 4 drivers in contention for the podium. As look at this, Lancey's going to try to go all the way down the inside. Gets Reimer. Could he get Race Day as well? Not quite, but Race Day's going to go well wide off the track. Reimer's going to go back around Lancey and gets the top spot back. As Lancey around Race Day. So Race Day had gone wide through that first. Oh, and Lancey's going to go wide through 4. Allows Race Day to the inside. Race Chase was nearly there as well. So that was really interesting what had happened. Lancey and Race Day were side by side in the corner. Lancey had taken Reimer low. Reimer had backed off. And in through that first corner, Race Day had kind of been pushed into the escape road there. And as they were side by side, as Race Day was exiting the escape road, as Lancey was just taking his normal line, Reimer had gotten back up to the top spot. As side by side, Race Chase and Cali Robb, as well as Shariah Coleslaw. And there's the rain. There is the rain. We knew it was going to happen. It has happened now, and, well, I tell you what, the question is when do they decide to pit? Oh, and look at this, Reimer's on his way in now. This is a huge, huge gamble for Reimer, knowing, oh, and he's got a tenner for speeding into the pit lane. That was Race Day's doing. Race Day was the person that took that sign out on the way in, under safety car, and now Reimer's got a tenner for breaking pit lane speed limit. And now look at this, they're side by side, Race Chase and Lancey's side as they go Oh, God almighty, as they go up through turn 4. Oh, and I can't even yell. Shariah's gone round. Oh, and look at this. It's all kicking off now. They're all side by side. They're all spinning. That track is going to get greasy so quickly. It's now already you can look and start to see the standing water not necessarily collecting, but you can really tell that circuit's starting to get greasy. And mind you, they've got no line on as well. So they got no line. They're not going to be able to know where the braking zone is. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic drama here with less than 10 laps remaining. DRS has been turned off by race control. That's the game telling us that the track has officially been declared wet. As into the pit lane now, Reimer, of course, has the tenor for speeding in the pit lane. Reimer, who was looking for his second ever Division 1 win. It could have been very well thrown away. But Reimer, what I will say is this, is going to get everything back. He's passing all the bunches of everybody going down the pit lane. Reimer is actually going to have a fair shot here still, as behind race day comes out, but he's going to be, probably like 5 seconds behind Reimer. 3.3 and counting, as those tires are still not warm for race day. Callie Robb trying to get to it as well, 0.8 of a second behind. As they're going to have to start. This is what's difficult after having a session fully in the dry, is that now you got to rework your braking points. You got to rework how you get back on the throttle as well. I mean, these guys, unless they would have practiced in a wet session beforehand, they're going to have no idea how this track is going to react. They will have nothing to have gone off of. And that is such a dangerous game to play. What I will say is this, Reimer, despite being 10 seconds ahead, race day is behind only just 3.4. And it's not very often you can get a 10-second speed limit penalty taken off unless Reimer, genuinely has the data that he was under on the way to the pit lane. I mean, I have called something like that before, where the game has just flat out wrongly given a driver a tenner for speeding. Lancey and Nikki side by side, making their way down the pit straight, and Lancey's going to get the spot over the V-carb of Lancey. Lancey's actually lost a good couple of positions there in the pit lane. That's a little surprising. Callie Robb up to 3rd. Race Chase 4th, still Nikki 5th. As it looks again, race day looks like, at least for the time being, that he could take 3 out of the first 4 races here in Season 14. I mean, that is an incredible feat. Not only that, he's done 5 out of the last 7 as well. That is such an impressive feat, it's not even funny. Think about a guy like Race Day, who spent a lot of time in F1 23 really not being able to get it together. A guy who spent a lot of time struggling and getting within steward reports as well, and then come F1 24, and he is pound for pound the best driver in Midwest, which is a title he's worked for so long. Before that, he's had to defend against, Scornsy and like Ryan Rods. And now he finds himself really in potential to be amongst the greats if he's able to hold on and win a championship at the end of this season. Question is now without knowing the braking zones, how gutsy are people going to be and trying to make overtakes? Because realistically now, you're in a total gray area. There is not going to be a precise moment to brake on the track. These guys to this point in the dry would have figured that out. They would have figured out exactly where along the circuit, how close to the corner they would need to brake. And now that's all out the window. Whoever is adapted best to this situation is absolutely going to take the cake here in race day. What I'll say is this, has shaved about a second off of that time back to Reimer. Of course, Reimer's got the tenor as well, but this will certainly help race day. And realistically, unless a mistake happens from the Mercedes, you've got to believe that he will be the one walking away with the win here again. At the line this time will be 6 laps remaining here in Barcelona. We'll take the opportunity to remind you now that coming up next week, December 12th, we head to the Las Vegas Strip Circuit, which should be an absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant race. That, I mean, I have yet to be disappointed in a league race where we have visited Las Vegas. The track, is it fun to drive? Not really. The scenery, yeah, it's nice. It's kind of boring as far as the layout's concerned, but the racing has been so phenomenal there. Every league I cast, every race, every league I've visited, every race I've casted has been absolute banger of Vegas. I am so ready for that. And you know what as well? Barcelona lives up to that moniker as well. This is another great race here, as Sui's going to look to the outside of Noganator through turn 5. Oh, as Gab's going to pick up a third, second a penalty there, up to 9. And more importantly now, Rapid Reimer, who exited, when race day exited the pit lane, had 3.5 seconds of gap, is now down to 1 second. See if race day, I'm curious to see if race day is actually going to be able to do this one on track, or if he's just going to kind of wait it out and take it with the penalty. Because realistically in the dry, there's just, in the wet, I mean, there's just no way. There's not a lot of good overtaking opportunities, even in the dry, really. In the dry, you've got turn 1 with DRS. That's your best bet out of the whole circuit. You're really not going to get him into 10. 4 is a bit of a long shot unless you're side-by-side going through 3. 5 is just really not going to happen. I mean, we saw it a couple times, but it's just not the best place to make something happen, as we got a couple of cars stacked up on their way through 1. Gunner, Gottney, Weeb, Gavin, yeah, and I think Fire Flow was in that as well. A couple cars battling about there. Noganator's still trying to look forward on Lancey. Lancey, I'd say I'm not rightly sure what's happened to the V-Carb here. He was really in and amongst this battle for the top 3. Callie Rob's in the way, Nicky's in the way, and Race Chase. Nicky has absolutely timed this correctly and now finds himself in a position to potentially take the podium. I mean, he's still 3 seconds behind Callie Rob, but if Rob picks up a penalty, it's certainly possible, as Noganator's going to dive to the inside and he's going to look for Lancey, and he's absolutely got him. And Reimer now, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That was coming out of the final corner with 4 laps to go into turn 1. Race day now, of course, just has to be careful. He's just got to be careful. He's got to make no mistakes. He's got to drive cleanly. That is the way that race day is going to win this. And you know what? That seems like it's going to be somewhat of a task, because race day was struggling in the dry. You know, race day, as quick a driver he is, did not look the best driver today. Between himself and Reimer, I really thought Reimer was going to take the cake as probably the quickest driver on track. Of course, his penalty is there, both the 3-second and the tenor for speeding. But you really had to think that Reimer was on the front foot today, and it's just not played out for him. So close to potentially getting his 2nd ever Division 1 win. Remember, the first one he got was in Monaco. That was last season, season 13. Round 1 was in Monaco, and he took it. At the line this time will be 3 laps to go. My question is going to be this. Lancey's now been overtaken by Sui as well. He'll be getting a couple of these spots back. Maybe can Nicky 64, who's 2.3 behind Callie Rob, maybe will Callie pick up a time penalty and lose out on that 3rd spot, as race day around the outside on Reimer. Going through the first couple of corners as Reimer's only just going to be able to hold on. Of course, Reimer still has the penalty, but maybe you could think that Reimer has an opportunity to get one of those penalties taken off. Of course, if there's a will, there's a way. I mean, we've seen 10-second penalties and 3-second penalties taken off before. I don't think Reimer's got a good enough case for either of them. But, it's worth a try. And I think Reimer at this point as well, remember, he still has the opportunity to finish at least third. Or maybe even second, because he's got 4/10, probably to the good. Back to Cali Robb. If we look at the interval, he's, 2/10 to the good of keeping that third spot. But Cali Robb is driving really quickly. And I'm kind of thinking that Cali Robb is going to be able to keep that third spot. But, I think somewhere along the line, that's not too sure. I think he's made a bit of a mistake there. 10.3. Rapid Reimer is 0.3 of a second to the good right now and being able to keep the second spot with 2 laps to go. Shariah Coleslaw to the back end of Houdini as they make their way up through 11. Houdini now potentially 2/10 on Lancey. And you know what? For Houdini, this would be a fantastic result. Being able to take another 2 spots after penalties applied, finishing 6th place. If Houdini's able to do that, that'll be, I'm not sure, a career best result for Houdini, but it'll definitely be up there. And look at this. Energy store being used. Houdini to the inside. Heading down into the first corner, and you gotta think, is he gonna get it into the braking zone? Yes, he will. Oh, and contact with Lancey. Lancey's gonna slide wide, and Shariah and Travis Scott are gonna get by as well. And now, once again, it is just 1/10.5 of a second here. Reimer, is he a little silly for trying to hold on to that lead instead of, maybe dropping back behind race day and not dropping back behind race day to lose the lead, but to kind of be able to run some consistent laps to stay pace ahead of Cali Robb. Of course, he's got about a second to the good right now to be able to keep second spot as Nikki 64 is next up. Remember, we were looking at Nikki. Could he potentially take third? Final lap of the Grand Prix underway as well. Shariah Coleslaw around the outside of Houdini. It's not going to happen. Nikki 64 down the pit straight. This is huge. This will be for the third spot. Could Nikki find his way onto the podium? Cali Robb's going to have to outbrake him on the inside. The battle is pretty much over for second. He's about 11.3. Not enough to be able to finish second, but could Nikki 64 play spoiler to Cali Robb and take third? It's absolutely possible, but Cali Robb's going to make him work for it now as side-by-side, race day and Reimer wheel-to-wheel contact, heading for turns 7 and 8. This is for the battle for the lead on track. Oh, and contact made, and Reimer's only just going to be able to save it. And I think Race Day knows he didn't want to take it like that, and he's giving the spot back. Good, clean battle between the two. Had a bit of a rough moment there, but they want to fight this one out to the win. Forgets it, Shiggles, really. They're side by side. Meanwhile, they're kind of losing time. Back to Cali Robb, who's been able to stay ahead of Nikki 64 for the time being. They're side by side. Going through the final 2 corners. Reimer's going to be ahead. Of course, Race Day's going to be taking the win here, but look at this, side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel at the line. Race Day is only just going to cross the line first, and Cali Robb is going to take third. Wow, what? Oh! Reimer's picked up an additional 10. Reimer's down to 4th. That's bold. Yeah, I don't think that's right. He only had 13 seconds of penalty. The game gave him an additional 10er for whatever reason. Reimer should be probably second place right now, but either way, what a race it's been, guys. Definitely appreciate you sticking with me here and coming along for the ride. Be sure to join us next time out when we head to the Las Vegas Strip Circuit for round number 5 of this Midwest F1 season. For Hotspot, it has been a pleasure joining you here once again. and we'll see you next time.